Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, December 22, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about the heart, cardiovascular system, circulatory system, and the damages that are occurring not only with American people but the planet at this time, and what we can do to circumvent any further degradation of the human bodies. Now, all of us are moving towards mastering the ego mind. Now, we know that the ego mind is an illusion. And we know that everything outside of us is an illusion. It isn't real, okay? The only thing that's real is the gods that we are within these bodies. Because the only thing that is real never changes. Might be confusing for some people. Everything that changes is not real. So then how does that work? Well, we're energy, so we move energy into form. We create it into reality, and then we experience it. Right? Now, this can come in the form of thoughts. And see, for a lot of us, we've been programmed by other people's thoughts. So most of the time, we are directed and we do things through thoughts that we think are ours, but they're not. They're other people's thoughts. So you can figure it out that for billions of years, other people's thoughts roam around on this planet, so to speak. And we use them because the ego mind tricks us into believing that those are our thoughts because they're so, our names are attached to them. We believe they come in, and we embrace them and we use them. This is where we get the mind chatter that we all have, which is constant. And it's, we're running over 60,000 thoughts a day. And they're not ours. When you do a thought for yourself, what you're doing is you go into the now. You focus on your breath. You go into meditation. And so when you send a thought out, you will send a thought out to the universe. And the thought could be, hey, I want this or I want that, and you describe it in detail, and then you just surrender it to the universe and let it go. And your confidence, trust, and faith in yourself and the universe takes care of the rest. So it manifests. That's your thought. That's what you're sending out. When we have all these thoughts that have accumulated on the planet, for all of us, okay, and many of us do not know that we don't know that the ego mind controls us, that it's mastered us, and we are the ego mind servant. And so one might say, well, how do we know this? Well, and understand, the mind is an illusion that creates the ego, which is also an illusion that fools us. It does fool us. And it's insecure. This is why a lot of us are insecure. See? And it's not only is it insecure, it's never satisfied. This is why a lot of us are never satisfied. And we're satisfied sometimes to a certain extent. You know what I mean? We're satisfied to a certain extent. But it doesn't last, and it fades. And so it's something else, and something else, and something else. And this is how the ego mind directs us and drives us. The insecurity, the fear, the anger, worried about what other people think. These are all ego mind generated. So you can start putting two and two together and you figure it isn't really a negative thing because it's teaching us. Okay? So we end up mastering the ego mind through staying in the now, practicing being in the now, creating mantras for ourselves to repeat so we can train the mind into a different direction. So what we're doing is we're reprogramming ourselves with our thoughts and not everybody else's thoughts. This is why the society is structured the way it is on the planet. We look at the society as the human psyche. So the society kind of dictates to you, for most people, right? You know, what you can wear, what you can't wear, how you're accepted, how you're not accepted, if you're liked and if you're not liked, all that stuff, okay? That's the society which is built upon the ego mind. Conflict, aggressiveness, this is all ego mind. Because we feel we have to perform. We have to prove to ourselves things. That's ego mind. Okay? So this is why we suffer, because the ego mind exists in yesterday and tomorrow. Right? It doesn't exist in the now. So this is how we leave it alone. The mind doesn't exist in the now. So this is how we leave them alone. We leave them alone by going into meditation, focusing on the now through the breath, and that's it. That's meditation. It's not complicated. Okay? You don't care to be interrupted. So if you're somewhere where you're going to be yelled at, there's a lot of noise and stuff, then put earplugs in and put one of those sleep masks on your face so you're totally in the mode, in the groove, whatever you want to call it. And you're in a comfortable position and you're still as a statue, and you're focused on your breath. You do it for 5 minutes, you do it for 10 minutes, you do it for 15 minutes, however you want and however often you choose. It's up to you, no one else. And then, you know, as time goes by, you begin to acclimate and you start identifying, okay? Because the ego mind is there for us to overcome it. That's why it's there. And look at all the things we learn along the way. We go within. We discover who and what we are. I had someone send me an email, and they said that they didn't know who they were because they found themselves, whenever they were with certain people, they kind of changed themselves for those certain people. They became someone else. The good thing was is they were able to identify that. Like, why is it that I'm not just me with these people? Why is it I put on a different mask, I act a different way, you know, I communicate a different way, but it just depends on the people that I'm with. This is ego mind. That's what it is. Okay. So one might ask, okay, so if I leave ego mind alone and I focus on my breath and I'm in the now, then what do I do? You don't do anything. You just sit. Listen to the breath. And when you're saying to yourself, okay, I want something, right? You want something, whatever it may be. And so that's where you send that thought to the universe in the now. That's why so many people suffer in yesterday and tomorrow, because most people are in yesterday and tomorrow. I can almost guarantee you that there's millions of people that wake up in this country every morning, and before they're even out of bed, okay, and you kind of open your eyes, you look around, and they're already preoccupied with tomorrow. And they're in the now. They're in today, the morning. But they're already gravitating over to what? Tomorrow. Or what they're going to do 3 hours from now or an hour from now. Or the night or the evening or the morning, whatever, the day. You see how that works? Now, most of us don't. We don't acknowledge that. It's just part of life, right? We just kind of go with it. But then you start realizing, as the more you go in the now, the more you request these things. And I recommend you do one, not 20, but one thing. Even write it down. Make sure that it's in perfect detail as far as you're concerned, that you're not missing something, okay? Because you could do a sloppy one, and the universe will send you a sloppy request. So you want to make sure that you're exact. I mean, every detail you can think of, and then look it over, and then go into meditation, and then send this to the universe. Now, the key issue of it is that this is part of us discovering our spirituality, who and what we are. That's why this week we've been talking about what? Enlightenment. Everything centers around enlightenment. We're already enlightened beings. We just forgot that we were. That's it, period. It's not real complicated, but it is challenging for us because we're in a habit as a people of this planet. We're in a habit, and we know what habits are. We all get into good habits, bad habits. It just depends. So none of us are really exempt, because even the ones that think that they never have a habit do have a habit, but they don't believe that that's the habit that they, it's not a habit, it's just what I do. What's a habit? So we get into these habits, and probably most of the time through the whole life and through lifetimes. So when we do that, we say, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I've acknowledged the fact that I'm in this habit, and I've let the ego mind master me, and basically, and it's a horrible master, by the way, but that's what we do. Why do you think so many people are, they're put at each other's throats and they argue? And it's always about the ego. And I'm not talking about arguing about the ego, but it's the ego that instigates these conflicts. Okay? The only enemy that we have is ourselves. I kid you not. So you begin to recognize in your own way, when you're in the meditation, and you listen to this guided information that I share with you, and you pick whatever you need from that information, and you go into a silent mode. You focus on your breath. Okay? Some people talk through the meditation. I don't really care to do that. I think it's disruptive. I think when people are presented with this kind of information, they'll take what they need in the meditation to guide them, to assist them. And the whole point is to get them to get more in with the God that they are, so that the God within them guides them. Okay? And that's part of the reason that we've been doing these meditations for almost 6 years, every day, 7 days a week, without fail. So it is a combination of understanding this is the path of guidance, so that you begin to want to, not have to, but want to go within and discover the God that you are, not the body. Okay? It's huge, because it makes a shift. It creates a shift for each of us and a different perspective, totally. And then on top of it, we start experiencing lightness, ease, our frustration, irritation, while you're in the now, is gone. It doesn't exist. The ego mind is not there either. The mind chatter is gone. Your worries, stresses, and fears are gone. It's not like you're running from them, okay? Because you're going within, and you're actually saying, okay, so I have these fears, whatever it may be, fears, worries, stresses, and I pretty much have ignored them. They've kind of built up. And we all do that through our lives. But this time, now I want to embrace them all, and I want to look at it with childlike curiosity, so I could say, okay, so why have you, this particular fear, been so prevalent with me? What is it? What is it about you? What am I fearing here? Now understand, in the meditative mode, you don't have any of the distractions. The ego mind's not there or anything. So you are totally free within. Now, the challenge here for some of us, or maybe not all of us, is that we have things that we just don't address with ourselves. We're not talking about judgment. We're just talking about things that we acknowledge, okay, and we embrace. So this way, we begin to love ourselves genuinely. Not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about love way beyond that. So we begin to love ourselves. And we start realizing, hey, that wasn't that as challenging as I thought it would be to basically present myself to these fears, anxieties, and worries and stresses. Some of them you might have taken with you from past lives. And so now what you're doing is because you're fearless. You don't have any fear in the now. So you're just like a child, childlike curiosity. You're asking, why is this fear here? Why are you here, fear? You know, why are you the one fear that seems to be much more prevalent in my life and comes and goes, but you're always there? You'll find that out because you'll begin to get answers. And those fears will just dissipate. They'll disappear. That doesn't mean that new fears won't come in, because none of us are always in the now yet. So that's why we practice it every day, being in the now. And how do you do that? I mean, really? Well, you become cognizant or aware, and you'll go automatically into, you could be doing anything. You could just be sitting by yourself. You could be watching something streaming live on the internet, whatever. And all of a sudden you say, I am deeply grateful for the very moment I'm in. This is very powerful. Okay? And you begin to realize it's not coming from the head. It's coming from the heart. You'll know. Okay? The ego mind's slick. We know that. It's very tricky. And it can trick us into believing that it's coming from the heart mind when it's coming from the head. See, so you got to be really aware, because it's a slick little devil. It's fooled us all many times. So when you get to that point and you say, well, wait a minute. That's an ego thought. That's an ego mind thought. I'm not interested in that. I really don't care to interact with it. I don't care to make it my thought. It's just like, you know how the clouds, sometimes you watch them and they float by. That's basically what these thoughts are. They just kind of float by. You don't pick it out. You don't reach out and grab it and hug it. You recognize that it isn't your thought. Now, sometimes you'll see a thought and you'll look at it and say, you know, that thought there would be kind of fun. So you may at times pull one of these thoughts in and make it your own. Okay? And a lot of the other times you'll see these thoughts go by and say, no way, Jose. I don't care to participate in that thought. And it will. It'll just float by you. Okay? It's only when we act. You know what I mean? When we move in to that. And we decide. Now you can imagine how many of us on this planet don't know that. They don't know that. They're moving through life. They have been plunged from a young age into some form of religion, most cases, right? So other people's thoughts have formed their personalities and characters and so on and so forth. So that they don't know that they're the God in the body. They don't know that they're the kingdom of God. They don't know that they're the heaven. See? And to differentiate that between the physical material, organic material, that these suits that we wear, right? And they're so immersed in the physical material world, but that's all consuming for them. Why? Because that's where the ego mind exists, in the material physical world. You ever been in a situation where you look at something and you say, whatever it may be, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. And you say, I really want that. And you can feel yourself vibrating, that you really want that, right? Now, here's the difference between getting it and not getting it. What happens is that most of the time, the ego mind is in charge. So you're suffering because you have pinned attachments to the outcome of what you want. And what is that? What does that mean? Well, it's like you're expecting something, and then by expecting it, when you believe that it's going to be yours, you form an attachment to the outcome of that. You add things. Well, I'm going to do this then. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Those are attachments. You're attaching yourself to the outcome of it. It doesn't see. It doesn't eliminate your desire to want it, to have it, or anything. But that's what blocks our ability to manifest what we want. It stops it. And this is when we suffer. We get disappointed, right? We get let down. If you had your heart set on something, we all have once or twice. When we were kids, we had our heart set on things, and you didn't get it, and you were disappointed. So and then we've all done it so more than once. So you start to realize as well, I'm not going to have any attachments or expectations on this. Yes, I want it. I would like this in my life. I would like to enjoy this. I'm here to enjoy my life. But I'm not attached to it. So in the event that whenever it happens, you already know that the universe is already forming it. You know that. See? And that you put that out. The universe is doing it right. Bottom line. Now, is it on your schedule? No, it's on the universe's schedule. The universe knows way better than we do. In fact, it knows what's best for us better than we do. And it never makes mistakes. And it's always there. See, these are things that we either embrace them, right, or we don't. And if we don't, we stay in the ego mind. What are the fear factors? Well, the fear factors are the unknown. Unknown is where all the possibilities are. When you aren't sure of something, right, and you're afforded the opportunity to do something you've never done before. You've had maybe a couple of times where you've had that opportunity, and you just kind of went, nah, not interested. And then you kind of think a little bit and say, I wonder what that would be like. Okay? And so you kind of just fluff it off. But then it comes up again and you say, maybe I'll try that. I'll do it. Trying, you just say, I'm going to do that. And so you do it. You find out, you go, wow, this is great. I can't believe I didn't do this before. I really like this. Could be anything, right? So that you'll do it some more. So this is that. At first, it was the unknown for you, right? You had no clue. You'd never done it before. You had apprehension. Ego mind was sitting there saying, no. Because remember, the ego mind is super insecure. So it said, no, let's not. I'm not going to do it. So you take a leap of faith. And you do things that you normally don't do, that you wanted to do, but something was holding you back. That's called the ego mind. What if this happens, or what if that happens? That's ego mind. Oh, I better not do that. Oh, well, no. What if it doesn't work? When we do that within ourselves. And have you ever found yourself, you're in the process with something, and you try to rationalize your way out of it? Even though it's something that you want to do, you're happy about, you look forward to doing, but you sit there the whole time trying to rationalize not to do it. Trying to find a way to stop you from doing it. You ever done that? No. So these are all ego mind instigated, and we know. See, you start to learn that that's who's running the show. And then you begin to say, ego mind, you're not in charge here. I love you, but you're not in charge here. And then you start spending more and more time in the now. This is kind of a generic process. You get a bird's eye view of things without expectations or attachments. This is pretty much how it runs for us. We decide to go within. We're not talked into it. We aren't forced into it. We just want to do it. That's it. Hook, line, and sinker. So we start practicing going within, focusing on our breath, being in meditation. You can meditate taking a walk through the park. People think that you always have to meditate. You got to go somewhere and do this. It's all involved. It's all complicated and technical. It isn't. It's basically what it is you're forming a practice to start moving you within to discover the God that you are. That's what you're doing. And you're deciding it, and so you do it. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to go tell everybody I'm meditating. That's ego mind. Okay? All of us are here to enjoy this life. That's what we're here to do. Are we going to learn? Absolutely. We'll always learn. 1 billion years from now, us gods will be learning. We never stop learning. No? Anybody that comes to you and says, I've seen it all, know it all, heard it all, learned it all. Well, you should just give them a big hug and say, good luck. Because none of us know it all, none of us have learned it all. It doesn't matter. You'd be 5,000 years old, you're still learning. Isn't that phenomenal? And many people are feeling what? What are we feeling? We're feeling energetic bliss. Some of it's a little trickle, not much. It's short-lived, comes and goes. Others are kind of not knowing, but they feel different. Why is that? Is there some galactic flash that's occurred? Or a CME from the sun? No, it's you. It's the God within you. It's you deciding. And that shifts the vibrational frequency and harmonics of you. And that's what's happening on the planet. The main, I will say this, the main primer for that is that the collective consciousness created the photon energy field. Some call it the belt. And this solar system is running and passing. It's going through it. Well, how long is that going to be? A few thousand years. That's why this planet will be a God planet paradise. That's why the vibrational frequencies keep increasing. That's why at times the Schumann resonance is off the charts, which is the vibrational frequency of this planet, the God within it. So what we're looking at is we're looking at what we, the gods, collectively, which is pure, remember, God is pure consciousness, God is life, God is love. So we begin to realize that we collectively, us gods, whether consciously or unconsciously, have done this to help us and these bodies evolve. That's what this is all about. So remember, there's no galactic flash. That's just interpretations from others that believe a certain way. But this is us. This is the gods that we are. We're already omnipotently powerful supreme beings that never die. What more do we need? Really? Okay? We're in perfect bodies, but we are taught to believe that they aren't perfect because we're always trying to change them. And change is an illusion. Huh? So it's a process for us, but it's fun and it's challenging. And sometimes, for some of us, it will take every ounce of fortitude and courage we can muster together to move out of the habit of ego mind and into the habit of the gods that we are in these bodies. And that's what's happening on this planet. Because more and more, I'm not saying thousands a day, but more and more are deciding to go within. Not religion at all. It's just different. It's way nothing to do with religion at all. This is our spiritual journey, which is basically what we came into these bodies to discover. In a sense, we are endless. We are infinity, the gods that we are. That's why we're not in a race. Well, we're not in a race, and we aren't waiting for our rewards, our gold stars, silver star, bronze stars, or anything like that. That's material physical world. We already know that we're perfect, that we're divine perfection. We, as gods, we will step up in different levels of divine perfection, okay, as we progress. But we're the only thing that never changes. We are the only thing that's real. You can go touch a tree and say, well, this tree's real, right? You can pick a leaf off up the ground. You can smell a rose. This is real. See the thorn? It pricked me. I'm bleeding. It's tricky, isn't it? That's how real it feels. Because we create it to experience it. It's got to be real. It's got to feel real to us, right? Didn't feel real, boy, we'd be bored. So that's how we do it. We create our entire life journey. We don't know it, okay? Most don't. They just think it's what? Divine direction. And in a way it is, because you're the God and you're divine perfection. So, but it's like we determine our future, the destiny. If we wanted to, we could change our destiny. But before you could do that, you would really have to know that you would really learn to know that you're the God in the body, and you embrace the God, and you commune with the God, and you have an intimate relationship with the God that you are in that body. Okay? We love the bodies. I mean, goodness gracious. All of us that are in bodies right now are very fortunate. There are a lot of gods that would do anything to get a body right now. There just isn't enough. There's not enough bodies for the gods to go in on this planet. Okay. So, and the things on this planet are so challenging for us that we learn a lot. And it even make it even triple challenging. We don't have any recollection of anything. Period. So we're like newbies, and we begin to learn over and over and over again. That all of you are in this meditation, that's huge, because you're halfway there. You're not denying anymore that you are the God in the body. And it's becoming more and more prevalent with you, and you're not sitting there with the ego mind trying to rationalize or convince yourself that that's just all a bunch of hooey. You're really saying, I'm beginning to realize that I am the God in this body. And you're not doing it from the ego mind. You're doing it from the now, through the heart mind. You haven't anything to prove. We're all supreme beings. And that's what's really taking place on this planet. You're doing it. There isn't something out there that's doing it. You're doing it. You see how that works? You see how we could kind of be a little blurred vision, because the ego mind has mastered us so well that we believe that, well, this is going to come from here, and this is going to happen, or that's going to... No, you begin to realize that, oh no, none of that. That's all an illusion out there. I'm talking about the God that I am in this body. That's real. That's real. So you kind of say, oh, so I'm going to go out in that illusion and experience what? Lots of things. Lots of things. And you don't make mistakes, you just experience. Pretty much, that's the way it is. Making mistakes makes us feel guilty. A lot of people get guilty because, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Boy, I feel really bad. See? Okay? But we learn, and we're constantly learning and experiencing. As I've often said, what's knowledge without experience? Let's say that you're out there and you experience a whole plethora of things for years, right? You come across somebody that's all books, education, books, and knowing from books and knowledge, but yet you've lived all of that. It's a huge difference. So their perspective is out of the book. Yours is out of experiencing it. Huge difference. Would you rather learn from somebody who has experienced many things, or from somebody who's just read a lot of books? I believe that you would probably say, I would learn from somebody who's actually experienced these things. And that's how it all breaks down. And we all are absolutely imperative. And we all affect everything. Every one of us is tremendously needed on this planet. Every one of us. When one of us leave the body, there's a void. Period. So this is why more and more of us are being more compelled to say we've got to come up with ways, manifest ways to keep ourselves in these bodies. And eventually, far off right now, all of us will be able to do everything that these technologies will do for us. Okay? We have that ability, but we haven't learned enough to do that. And that's why these technologies that we're introducing will teach us. They're like a teacher, a guide, and a savior all at once for these bodies. It is when you're in the heart mind and you're in solitude or in meditation, you'll begin to feel blissful. You'll begin to feel really happy. More and more. And you'll understand that it's not temporary. That it continues. Before you go, well, there's been times, but they didn't stick with me. But these are sticking with me for no reason. See, there's no reason. Why am I so, have you ever done that? Why am I so happy? Well, it's because the God within you is bubbling up. I feel so good, I don't understand why. People say that. I've had people say that to me. I feel really good, I don't know why. There's no reason for me to feel good. Yes, there is. You're alive in that body. That's enough to feel good. So in the quiet time of this meditation, and what I've shared with you, pick out any morsel you care to, focus on it, or all of it, on however you choose. And you're in the now. So all that stuff that's in yesterday and tomorrow is sitting there, but it's not affecting you. It won't be in the now. And we're progressing. We're accelerating faster than we ever have in the history of the planet. Now, so to some it seems real slow, dragged out. But when you realize that you're infinity, that you never leave, that you never die, it changes things. You realize it. You're not in the rat race. You step out. You can watch it, learn from it, but you're not of it. You used to be of it, but then you woke up and said, I'm not of that. Oh, it's kind of fun to kind of dip into it every now and then, but I wouldn't care to be at full time. I have other things that I've chosen to do while I'm in this body. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Take an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. We are love itself. Excuse me. The vibration of love lives at the core of you. It is the driving force behind your every thought and feeling. You can feel more of this love by continuously giving it away. Become a golden white shower of love for others. Always give away your love, generously and freely. There's no need to expect anything back in return. You can bathe all day long in your own heart and soul, which is overflowing with this soft, sweet, healing presence. When you take an even closer look inside, you'll see there's absolutely nothing in you but love, sweet love. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, Friday, December 22, 9:15 p.m., around 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our reverse aging health call. We're going to be talking about cardiovascular, certain bodily functions that are in harm's way in an enormous upsurge on the planet. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you.